Welcome to the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. I am your host, David Riddle. My guest this week is not necessarily a national champion or a world champion. However, there'd be plenty of stages you would not have been able to shoot without this man. He loves the sport, enjoys the shooting, loves the socializing, and volunteers a lot of his time so that you can come and shoot the match that you want to shoot. If you would, join me in welcoming to the show Mr. Mango Mike Palicte. Welcome, Mike. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. If you would take a brief moment and introduce yourself.
Yes, like you said, I am Mango Mike, and I love the sport, and I volunteer because I love the sport, and I get to see and I get to meet new people all over the country, all over the nation, and I enjoy the sport so much, and I want to keep it going. And I I'm very competitive. I did not play a lot of sports when I grew up, but I am a very competitive person. I did not play sports just because my background, where I grew up, we can't really afford to do all of this fancy sports stuff. But now that I'm here in the United States, I came from the Philippines, obviously. I'm Filipino. And I salute to all the Filipinos out there that represent the sport. Edsel Gino, he's one of the really good kid that I've met along the way when I started shooting. Um, and I am 50 years old. I'm soon to be 55 in the next 5 years. Well, I'll be 51 this year, so maybe I can compete in the senior category and maybe start winning a little bit. But you know, it's all good. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You
That's
just
me.
need a little bit of Geno speed.
I know, I know. And accuracy of Eric Graffel. That's what I
Yeah.
need.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But man, that guy is quick.
Oh my goodness. When I first met him, I just saw him and he is just, it's not like he puts a lot of effort in it. It's just like natural to him. And I mean, I have a little bit of that natural ability to move fast at my age, but that my tendency is to when I do that really fast, I forget some things. Like I might forget a target here because I wanted to end the stage like really quickly. But I got to work on that.
It's when you forget those darn reloads that get you. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
what
No. Yeah.
you don't
I've
have
done.
to worry about that a whole lot, but
Yeah. Yeah, the reloads and the target is like the most. I just did that the last match at Buckeye Blast. I forgot one target, and that's 40 points already, Dave. That's like
yeah,
it's hard to come back when you forget one target. That's you're already 40 points deficit, and that's like a very hard to get back into the rhythm of like going back into your next stage. But then again, it's one of that's the sport. That's the sport that I'm playing, and it's the best sport there is in the world. That's just my opinion. It's the best sport. I mean, I can't really explain it any better. Like I know people love basketball, football, softball, baseball, whatever, all these things, but the USPSA shooting sport is one of the best, my opinion.
I agree. Now, before we get too deep into all this, because I was about to go deep into it already, let me hit you with the icebreaker questions so we get the hard drive spinning,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the conversation will go much easier.
All right.
All right, number one, if you think back to the first time you shot a competition match, okay, and where you're at now, if you could, like Neo in the Matrix, download a one single skill to make you better right off the bat, what would it be?
Man, that is a tough question because I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals and there's a lot of skills in the sport that I want to be really, really good at. I mean, not just really, really good at, but good to start with. But if I wanted to go back in time when I was first shooter, I would definitely want to learn how to plan a stage. Stage plan would be my best. That would be because I can learn other stuff, like like yeah, I can learn to grip the gun, trigger control, all that stuff. But without the stage planning, you're done. Because if you miss a target, or if it doesn't matter what good of a skill that you have with your trigger control and accuracy, you miss a target because of your stage planning, your match is done. Match is over. And I'm still working on that.
I'm going out on a limb and saying it's raining where you're at right this moment, and it just lightning and thundered.
Yep, yep. It just now poured. Yeah,
Yeah.
right when I
Wow.
said, yeah, yes,
Okay.
it's all good. I'm
Yeah.
inside my four-season room here, so I'm good.
Nice. Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
One superpower?
Just one. You can't have them all.
Okay, okay. Oh man, uh, there's a lot of bad guys that I love their superpower, but I don't really necessarily like to be a bad guy. I'm more of a kind of a good guy in a way. Ah, oh man. I would, if I have a superpower. Ah, shoot, I would like to be Flash Gordon. Like I would want to be the that speed.
Okay. I like it. I think
Yeah,
speed and flying
yeah,
are the two most popular.
yeah. I mean, heck, you can fly, but then if I can speed up and run all the way across the world, I mean,
I mean, you're fast enough to run across water.
yeah, exactly. So I can. It's better than flying.
Right. Well, and then imagine how well you could shoot a match. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, I could shoot a match in, like, if I really want to not be so overly killing my opponents, I can just do it in like maybe 2, 3 seconds. And I could see the bullets, and I can even was I shoot, I can even move the bullet all through all alpha. As I'm shooting, and just put all the bullets in the alphas, and then I get back to my last position, and the RO won't even know that I left.
well, and then there's your Edsel Geno speed and your Eric Graffel accuracy.
Yeah, exactly. All in one superpower. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that would be it.
All right, I may know the answer to this next question, but we're all about to find out. What is one food you'll never get tired of?
Oh hell, mango, man, come on. Wait, I got a mango right now that I'm like about ready to like digest when we're done. So it's mango. That's me.
Oh goodness. All right, we're gonna have to talk about the Philippines later because I've been there 3 times.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right. I did talk to you about that when I first met you. Yeah, you were
Yeah,
in the military, weren't you? You were
yeah.
stationed there at one point. Yeah.
Well, I was stationed in Okinawa, but 3 different times I made trips over to the Philippines. So
To train, right? Or to
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
read that. We had that conversation.
Yeah, I don't remember what we exactly said, but
Oh, we're just we're just relaxing, talking about stuff, and then you mentioned something, and then I said, yeah, Philippines, and you said something about being stationed there in the military, or not
I
stationed, but that's what I thought.
I, I want to say it was last year at
Yeah,
Marengo. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
underneath the tent. Yeah.
Yeah, I that's where I met you last year, and
Yeah, that's where we really had our first conversation.
yeah, I exactly remember how I met you because I gave you the I gave you like that was IPSC, you know, that's the only reason because it was IPSC, and I was told by my hierarchy ranking officer like you cannot let people walk in your stage, and I'm very, you know, stickler to the rules, and you were my friend walking, checking the stage, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, come on, man. I don't want to be the bad guy. I hate to be the bad guy. But I don't think I was really nasty to you. I was just being polite and said, hey,
You were.
yeah, are you a competitor? What are you doing? You know, you can't be
That
walking here.
Yeah, no, it was funny. And I mean, you were doing your job. That's why I started laughing. I was like, this is my first time as media. I'm about to get a red card.
Yeah,
That was funny.
yeah. And, you know, IPSC is a different role. So I have to like learn the
Yeah.
rules, and I have to like, you know, make sure that it's fair for everybody, you know, like the competitive equity. I really enforce competitive equity in the sport that I love because I don't want people, you know, getting advantage when they don't deserve that advantage, and everybody has to be fair shooting the sport. And that only comes when you have the right people there to, influence the the rules and, you know, policies or whatever we have it.
Well, and that's the thing about last year too was you weren't rude or mean or anything like that. You were literally like, "Hey, you're not
Yeah,
allowed to do that." And I was like, "Whoop,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
who and what I am." And then you're like, "Oh, okay, do whatever you want. I don't care."
yeah,
But
yeah.
so
When I realized you were our media guy, I was like, oh shoot, shit, yeah, yeah. You're more,
right,
look it over, Dave. Where are
do
you gonna
whatever
put
you
your
want.
everything? Do whatever you want, sir. Yeah.
Okay, if you could have dinner with one person through any period of history of the world, who would it be? And it cannot be a relative.
Oh wow. Um, that hits that hits deep. I would. There's a lot of influential people, and as I'm growing up, but I would have to go really deep on this one, Dave. I don't know if you would even allow me to say this, but because this is gonna go religious stuff, I would go with Jesus Christ, man.
You're not the first one to say that.
Wow,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I mean, if you go into that, you know, the only person, he would be the person that I would love to have dinner with, and I would be like, I would just absorb all his what he would tell me. Yeah,
That becomes a deep conversation.
it is a deep
The-
conversation, and I don't want to. Yeah,
Yeah, and I told someone I was like, I had considered that, but I don't know if I'd want to know what he had to say. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I've walked in Israel, I've been to different places,
yes,
so
yeah.
those historical sites, but
Mhm.
even the apostles couldn't measure up to him.
No, I mean, second would be Paul, right? So, I, yeah. So again, I mean, depending on your religious belief, I know that he's the son of God. So
Yep.
who else would I want to talk to and get to know better if I want to get to know the God of the universe, the God of this world, right? Would be his only son. I mean,
But
the
but would you be able to understand him because he speaks in parables and sometimes I feel like I'm too stupid to understand what he would
um
be saying to me.
I might not be able to understand. Yeah, I might not be able to understand. Just like the same thing as the people, you know, his apostles did not understand when his next
Right.
coming. You know, they always ask him, and he showed him all the miracles, and they still didn't get it. But again,
Right.
if now that I have read the Bible and I know the prophecies and the fulfillment of the prophecy, and I know what it would be. As long as I go back in time and know exactly where I'm at now in the future, shoot, man, I would
Uh-oh.
cook
I think
Jesus
weather got
Christ
him.
weather.
Thunderstorm got him.
Uh
There you are.
oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Thunderstorm got you.
You got me. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so if you could go back in time and knew where you were today when you talked to him then, what were you saying?
Yeah, I would cook him the best food, Filipino food, and we would have a conversation. And just, I'm not even gonna ask him anything. I'm just gonna listen to what he's gonna tell me, and yeah, I'll just enjoy the conversation of the Son of God.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
would do. Yeah, that's what I would do. There's nothing I can critique or anything to say
Oh,
that would, you know. so,
yeah.
so I think that's where I would. Yeah, that would be so awesome.
It would definitely be amazing.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, sir.
and be like awesome and scary at the same time because
Yeah.
of who he is.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Last one will end on a lighter note. Not so heavy. If money were no object, what would you be doing right now?
Whew. If money is not an object, what I would be doing? I
Think if you had Bill Gates or Elon Musk money, what would you be doing?
I would try to make the world a better place, and maybe encourage people to do good and help people that are in need and shoot guns and enjoy, enjoy shooting guns. I mean, that is what I love to do. Even though I haven't done this in a long time, but it is my passion. Yeah, if money wasn't a thing, I would be a ambassador to the whole world to use our sport to kind of encourage people to stay away from drugs and bad things, and enjoy the sport of self-defense and knowing how to train yourself, and enjoy the sport to shoot paper targets and be good at our craft. Yeah, that's what I would do. And
Okay.
yeah, help people that can't afford to buy guns or train, and if I have the money, I would give the resources.
Okay. Now you said now that all the hard questions are over, now we get to the easy stuff. We'll just talk about shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's start off with first. When did you come to the US?
Yes. So I came to the US in September 10th, 1992. I
Okay, so you
remember that.
were
I was 16.
okay, you were 16.
Yeah, I was
So you're
16 years old.
all right, so your whole family moved to the US?
Um, yeah. So my mother basically met and this guy through like pen pal. I don't know if you remember that back in the day.
Yep.
People
I'm
use.
older than you, Mike.
Yeah. So my mother met this guy that lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they became friends and basically wanted to marry my mom. And so my mom married this guy, and we came from a broken family. So my biological mom and dad separated when I was still a baby. It's kind of it's kind of a sad story. I'm kind of a survivor in a way. Like that's why I am a little bit weird at times. Like I didn't grow up with a dad. My mom was basically our main resource or supporter. We had four kids to start, and they separated when I was still maybe not even 1 year old. And so my mom kind of did a lot of things, working. But then she ended up uh, meeting this guy through pen pal or through my aunt, and so she got married, and then my stepdad, now that lived in Fort Wayne, petitioned us to come over to Fort Wayne, Indiana. He did went to the Philippines and meet us when I was still like 14 or something like that, and and yeah, that's how I end up here, and my siblings, in 1992, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, if it gets too personal, just say something. But
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
where where in the Philippines did you grow up then?
So yeah, I grew up in so many places in Philippines. So the Philippines is like divided into three regions. The northern part is Luzon, the middle part is Visayas, and the southern part is Mindanao. And my mom, her all of her relatives or her where she came from were from the Visayas, and she met my dad. My dad is also from the Visayas, but then during that time, there's really nothing going on in Visayas, and then my mom separated with my dad, and she took all of four of us kids, and we migrated to Mindanao, which is the southern part, because there's more industry going on over there, like more work, place where to find a job. So I grew up in Mindanao, which is in Iligan City in Mindanao. And
Okay, I
then,
see it. It's right on the northwest coast.
yeah. And so I
Okay.
grew up, it's a city, but I didn't really enjoy the city. And sometimes we would vacation to our place in Bohol, which is in the Visayas, where my mom's side of the family, we have lots of land there. So we vacationed there, and then by the time I was on my third year of high school, I believe, or no, my fourth year of high school, basically. I started fourth year of high school. I went to Bohol and stayed there and with my relatives, and I enjoyed that place because it's more of the island kind of living, and I just love the outdoors. I enjoy fishing, and I just did all of that stuff, fun stuff there. And lo and behold, after I graduated from high school and then I started a year in college, and then my mom said, "Get ready, you guys are coming over to the United States." And she was already in the States at, 2 or 3 years prior to that, because she was processing all the papers and everything. And it just went really quick, happened. 16 years old, came here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I thought America was like, what you see on TV and everything. And then I came here in Indiana. It was just like, this is different.
Right.
Lots of porn, and I don't see a lot of tall buildings, like, so it was a very shocking experience, like an eye opening. So it was like a culture shock. The culture was all different, and and then again, I'm in survival mode again. So it's like my life has been changed so much with surviving, trying to get to know people, and I am very adaptable. I somehow able to acquire the skill of being able to adapt to different situation, and just and I'm able to like befriend with people right away, and because I can understand, and then I can also adapt like the language and the slang. I was trying to understand the slang of American slang and all that stuff, and yeah, so I was able to find my way in this American culture pretty easily. And of course, growing up in the Philippines, we studied English even at kindergarten. So we know how to speak English because we have it. We have an English class in ever since the beginning of our school ages. So, but sometimes we kind of shy not to speak in English to an American because our accent, but otherwise, most 95% of the Filipinos understand English, if I'm not mistaken. So
I
yeah.
know there were it was, when I was there in the 80s, the between 86 and 87, I mean, it seemed like everybody spoke the language. So I think
Hmm.
they spoke English. I feel like they spoke Tagalog
Hmm.
when they
Yeah,
didn't want us to know what they were saying. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. So Tagalog is like our national dialect. So English is our second dialect that we practice in school, but we also learn Tagalog in since kindergarten all the way through college. We have like Tagalog subjects because that's our national language. Because in the Philippines, we have more than I can't even imagine how many dialects we have, like over 1,000 dialects, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, because the Philippines is comprised of over 7,000 islands. So
Yes. It's a
in
crap
each
ton.
yeah, so in each island that you go to, they have different dialects depending on where you're at in the
Wow.
region. So if you cannot understand their dialect, then you speak Tagalog. So
Mm.
because like okay, in my region, we don't all speak the same dialect. So if I go like not even how many miles away, let's say like let's say 50 kilometers away, and it's already a different island. They won't understand my dialect because it might have a different accent. Like my meaning to that word that I would say totally have a different meaning to them. So you don't want to like disrespect them or call them, bad person because of that word. So I have to use the Tagalog national dialect to speak to them. It's just a lot easier communication wise.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm
For
basically,
people listening, 50 kilometers is 31 miles. So,
yeah, yeah, it can be just that as close as that.
right.
And yeah, but not necessarily that your dialect will change meanings, but the intonation or the accent might change. So
It surprises me that you said Mindanao had more industry. I figured it would be what's the island with Manila, Angeles, all of that.
yeah, so that is in Luzon. That's in the
Ye-
region of Luzon. That's in northern. Manila would be the biggest. That's the capital
right.
city of the Philippines. But at that time, I think my mom didn't want to go to Manila because she didn't have any relatives in Manila. So most of her
Mm,
relatives that kind of migrated out of Bohol was went to the south, which is Mindanao. So she kind of like followed where her sisters were. And then at that time, we have Iligan Cement Corporation. They have that cement industry. We have also an electrical industry there. So there's a lot of like big corporations or industry that is like at that time that were like able to hire people and put work. But Bohol in the Visayas, there was nothing, man. We're all farmers and fishermen and basically island life. But now it's more of a tourist area. So that place is so full of tourists now. It's ridiculous.
well,
But that's
that's isn't Cebu City like a huge tourist
yeah,
expat
yeah,
area?
yeah, yeah. So Cebu is in the Visayas as well. So in Bohol and Cebu, that's a very close island. It
Mm-hmm.
takes me about 40 minutes for a fast ferry boat from Cebu to Bohol. And but if you take like a slow ship, it's like an overnight. They leave at night and then you'll be there in the morning. But there's like fast ferry boats now that can go from one island to the next. But during my time when I was there, we didn't really have like a fast ferry ship or a boat that will take you to like one island to the next. It's a very slow process. So if you want to live there in Philippines, even now, you have to really change your lifestyle and your mindset. Like everything, you can't get everything like a microwave, like instant like this. You have to like give yourself a lot of time because a 5 mile or a 10 mile route might take you an hour or two because especially the traffic and all the other stuff because there's not much the infrastructure is really not that great. Like our roads are not fully developed. I mean, if there is a nice big highways, it's still there's still the populate. It's overpopulated. There's a lot of people that live in the area. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah, the land and mass ratio of people. There's so many people, but in such a small island, comprised of islands, there's like, yeah, again, there's like over 7,000 islands in the Philippines, but it's a very nice country. It's a very, very, very nice country. I wouldn't mind retiring there. You know, my money would go very far.
a lot farther. Yeah, and since you speak the language and you are that
Yeah, I,
nationality, I mean, you'd fit right in and be perfect.
yeah, yeah. It'd be a lot easier for me to again adapt. But
And then I would have someone to come visit.
absolutely, my friend. Absolutely, we will have a great time. And they have IPSC style shooting there too. Like Philippines is
Hmm.
like really, really big on guns, and I think we got it from the Americans. We got it from the the United States when our history is very like rich in history when we were under the Spanish and all this, back in the
Right.
1600s, right? And and of course the war and all this stuff, the Japanese World War II, and then of course General MacArthur came, and with all the guns that the Filipinos have been introduced, because we've been introduced so many different weaponry, but the guns have stuck into our bloodline really well because of World War II, like especially the 1911. The Colt 45 that General John MacArthur, brought to the Philippines, and it's been one of our things that we have been freed from, our freedom, like one of those
Yeah.
that we are, and Filipinos are very loyal people. If you haven't noticed, if you see one Filipino, or if you've met Filipinos and you've been friends with them, and I mean, if like, yeah, I we are very loyal people, as long as like, you don't break that trust. It's a good relationship.
You guys all seem to be pretty lighthearted too, you know. Good on the
Yes.
humor. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't take things too seriously. We lived in we've been living in such a harsh condition. I mean, our lifestyle has been so harsh that, and we love the American people. I mean, it's in our blood because of again history. Like how the Americans helped us through from the Japanese, during that time. So,
right.
yeah, history is such a big impact as American people.
You know, you mentioned Etzel Gino, but I've also had Thomas Luzriaga on here.
Oh wow! I
Yeah.
think I think I met him last year. He went to shoot one of our match in Maringo, I thought.
I didn't see him at Marengo.
Maybe
I don't think he does shoot, like he'll come to the States at times and he has shot matches here, but he wasn't at Marengo.
maybe
At
it
least I
wasn't.
don't.
Yeah, I thought Edsel like was with him at one point, and then Edsel introduced me to him. But there were so many, like, yeah, I think
They
that.
live 100 yards apart.
Oh my.
Yeah. Like he literally said, like he's my neighbor. He lives 100 yards away. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh wow.
So, but here's the crazy thing about Thomas. As good as he is, I think he was sixth in the world. He wasn't on the Philippine team, but he's was sixth in the world. And the dude doesn't practice. The dude doesn't even commit to it. It's just a fun hobby for him. I asked him, I said, when are you going to prepare for 29, World Shoot 29? He goes, 2028. I was like, get out of here.
How old is he? How old is the
Oh,
dude?
dude, he's young. He's in his 20s.
Yeah.
Like late 20s, I want to say. So he's still
Yeah.
very young.
Oh yeah. Like I said, man, like uh gosh, like these kids, man. I mean, I've been just trying to catch up with them, you know what I mean? Like I have my boy that I've trained with all this time since I started shooting. His name is Joshua Espinosa. His dad is a really good friend of mine, and me and him started shooting the same time. And he's a GM now, and he is. I've been trying to catch up with him. He's 20. He's half my age. He's 26 now, and he's 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 just, I don't know. They're just really efficient on what they do, and he's fast. But anyway, yeah,
They
it's
also they don't respect their elders when they're
they
shooting a match.
they don't. They think
No.
that, yeah, they think that that if every time I bring age factor to them, it's like, oh sure, yeah, whatever. He would tell me you can move faster than most of us young people, and like, okay, yeah, but the brain, you have a 50-year-old brain. Sometimes it doesn't work like your 25-year-old brain.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, so you get here at 16, which I thought was interesting because you said you were in college in the Philippines, but 16 here. I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow,
So
you are very, yeah, you're very catching on that one. Yeah, you are right.
yeah,
Yeah,
so so
yeah,
so
yeah,
walk me through that. How do you
yeah,
go from college back to
yeah,
high
yeah,
school?
yeah. Wow, you are good. You are good, Dave. So here is the deal. In the Philippines, we don't have middle grade. We go to 6 years of elementary school, and then we have 4 years of high school. Plus, I went to school a year early because I lived with my cousin at that time, and my cousin is a year older than me. And when he went to kindergarten, me and my cousin were really close, and I just followed him to school. So I was like a year younger than most of the students, but I followed him. And so the teacher's like, who is this kid?
Who's
And
a
then the,
stray child?
yeah, that's a straight child. I just followed my cousin. And so what happened was the teacher just said, well, we'll just put you in the school. And then they asked my parents or my mom and said, hey, we'll just put him in kindergarten. We'll just send him, because he's already here. And my mom's like, sure, free babysitting. And she went to look for a job and stuff like that. And that's what happened. I was always the youngest in my class, in my class. Every time I go, like my first grade, second grade, I was always the youngest. And yeah, so that's what happened. I graduated. Gosh, I graduated on my fourth year. I was like turning 15. And then I finished a year in college, and I was 16. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's how it happened. Like I said, we don't have any. You guys have 11th. What you have middle school here, which is what, seventh and eighth grade, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on where you're at, but typically elementary school is first through fourth or fifth,
Uh huh.
and then middle school is fifth or sixth through eighth grade,
Uh huh.
and then high school is ninth through 12.
Okay. Yeah. So we have 6 years in elementary school, and then we have 4 years of high school. That's how it is in the Philippines. I don't know what it is now, but that's where we were. That's how it was when I was growing up.
So when you got here, did you go quote unquote back into high school?
No. When I got here, I was 16. I kind of like let myself. So I was already, I finished a year and a half in college there. So I just kind of like went to look for a job. I worked at McDonald's, and then I got a car, and then I realized I wanted to do something better. And then I went to college in 90. I can't even remember. Is it 96 or 97 when I realized that I need to like do something better for myself? Yeah. And just like any other Filipino kids out there, we became nurses. So I'm a nurse. I work in the health industry. I always loved taking care of people, though. I mean, that was kind of like in my blood. So I finished a year in nursing in the Philippines, and then I ended up. I was gonna. I planned to be a doctor. I actually started doing pre med, but then I realized it was so much harder to like especially if I'm funding it for myself. Nobody's like helping me. Going to college, it was expensive, and I didn't want to put myself in such a lot of debt. So I went back into nursing, and maybe hopefully if I really wanted to be a doctor or a physician, I can use nursing as my stepping stone to get there. But then when I became a nurse, I enjoyed it. I made money. I did, like I was making enough money to support myself, and I just stayed became a nurse, and that was good enough for me. Yeah. So it was a good profession.
Now, typically, there aren't many people in the Philippines, not a lot, own a car. So, what was for
Correct.
you? What was that culture like? That everybody had a car and everybody's driving around, and the first time
Oh,
you got a car,
oh, Dave, going back when I was 16, growing up in the Philippines, I wanted a lot of things, but I didn't have money. Like my parents were not rich. I couldn't afford anything. That's why was never able to go to any like big academia or like sports or anything like that growing up, right? I made my own toys. I created my own toys out of tin cans, out of bamboo sticks and all the things. I made guns out of bamboos, and I made with rubber bands, and I was using like cherry things to use as my projectile. I mean, this is what we did growing up in the Philippines. And if you ever see like historical stuff in the Philippines, we did all of these things. We were shooting stuff out of handmade guns made of like some not ripened cherries. These are like fruit cherries that still has the stem on it, and also we use like bottle caps. We use that as our projectile. So we drill a hole in the wood and put like a little metal wire underneath, and then we put the bottle cap with a rubber band at the end, and you just put around the rubber band, and then make that as your trigger down below where that wire is that held the bottle cap, like out of your beer cap and anything like
yeah,
Coke or soda. And then when you release that, when you pull the trigger, that pin goes down, and then the rubber band slingshots the bottle cap, and we as kids we were shooting at each other. I've had like I've been hit with those things as when I was a kid, just because we were so competitive. Again, we are very competitive. I was very competitive growing up, but we did all of our own toys. We made our own toys from just being creative and all that stuff. So your question was, again, I lost track. What was your
oh,
question?
car,
Car, yeah,
about getting having a car.
yeah. So when I came here at 16 years old, I had like I met friends. They were already driving, and I'm like, what the heck? So now I was encouraged to get a job, right? So I went to apply a job at McDonald's, making money, and that's how I became like, okay, you gotta find a job, make money, and get what you want when you make money. And that's I mean, my first paycheck at McDonald's, I bought a Nike Air Jordan, man. I mean, that was like, yeah, the shoes, Michael
Yeah,
Jordan's. Yeah, that was 1990, what the 92, 93 version. It was like, like I was, the shoes are like
I've
also.
arrived.
Well, yeah, I'm like, yes, I finally have the shoes of Michael Jordan, right? And that was the time when Michael Jordan was like at his prime, right?
And, and Mike, people nowadays don't understand the impact that Michael Jordan had around the world.
Exactly.
You
Nobody
knew
ever
of
said
him.
it. Nope. No. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're
Nobody.
from the Philippines and you're
Yeah.
like, Michael Jordan's the greatest.
Hell
You
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because of what he impacted in the sport. I mean, he
Yeah.
changed the world through sport. But
Yes.
like again, basketball was not my sport. Uh, I enjoyed playing the sport, but because of Michael Jordan, I wanted his shoes. When I wore that shoes from my hard-earned money working at McDonald's, dude, I feel like I could fly. Like I feel like I could get this ball and I could like, like imagining him like, doing that Air Jordan move, and but I didn't dunk the ball. I was But as far as car, my mom was kind enough. She let me have their old car, and my stepdad taught me how to drive, and I was so eager how to drive a car, and I learned very quickly. I studied the test, passed the test the first time, and I was able to drive. So I was able to drive, and then and then that was it. I mean, and yeah, it was so different because becoming here in America, when you make your own money, I realized that you can really get what you want as long as you're a hard worker. And so you just work hard, and get the stuff that you want, and not just the like a car is. I realized that a car is a necessity. It's not just it is a part of your life here, because if you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere. You can't go to work. I mean, you can, but it'd be really really hard. But because of the culture that we're in, that everything has to be on time, like fast paced, because of our the way how we do things here. But again, in the Philippines, it's so different there. I don't know what it is now. I haven't been. Last time I've been back was 2017, and I'm sure it's totally different culture again there now. But I have to adjust to that when the time comes that I would spend my some of my time there. As far as like if I want to retire there.
Well,
So yeah.
I would even say a car is more than that. And I say that because the 2 years that I spent in Okinawa,
Hmm.
I did not have a car there. And, we went to Korea, we went to the Philippines. You're always reliant on other stuff. And the only thing that I missed when I was in Okinawa, because I loved being there, was a car. And
Hmm.
in the United States, a car is, yes, number one, it's a necessity. But number two, it is to me the epitome of freedom because
Right.
you can go in your car. If
Hmm.
I want to drive to California, I can drive to California. If I
Yep.
want to go to Florida, it's just freedom. I can go where
Yep.
I want. I can do what I want.
Yep. You have the control, the ability to control where you want to go. Yep.
Yeah.
And you're not, you know, under the mercy of whoever's driving you, or let's say you fly, like what if that pilot is not having a good night or whatever, you just don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Friday after work, you're like, you know what? I got a whole weekend, or maybe it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, what do I want to do? I got a car. I got money to put gas in there. I can go
yeah,
wherever I want that three
that's right.
days will take me.
Oh yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
absolutely get it. So yeah, owning a car, and then by the time when I first bought my car, speaking of cars, I was into cars. Who wasn't, right? Like, because I wasn't into anything else, so I was into cars. I love the American muscle cars, man. Because I mean, I don't know, I never really got into like Japanese cars, or like like I was into American muscle cars. And I've had Camaros, I've had a Pontiac Trans Am Firebird. That was actually my first
Wow.
brand new car before I graduated college. I went to Don Ayers Pontiac here in Fort Wayne. I was looking for a black Trans Am Firebird, and they didn't have it. But guess what? This guy, salesman's like, well, we don't have the black that you're looking for, but we have this collector edition yellow color in our showroom. So this was like the last of the Pontiac Trans Am Firebird, the last
Oh.
2002 Pontiac Trans Am Firebird collector edition, and he showed it to me, and it was $35,000 at that time, and this was 2001. And I looked, and I haven't even graduated college yet, right? I'm still like graduating, and I went to bought it. I bought it. I just couldn't not let go. I mean, not get the car. I at that time they approved me for my credit, and at that time it was 35,000. I paid luxury tax for that car. because it
Yikes.
was, yeah, it was quoted a luxury car because of what it was. Yeah, so I paid more, but it was worth it, man. And then I got married and have kids, and I had to sell the car.
No room in that car for
No,
kids.
no, no. But it was a very nice car. Yeah, there was only 2,500 made in the U.S. and there was 500 in Canada. So there was like 3,000 made, and there was only like 500 convertibles and 2,500 T tops, and I had the T top version of it. Yeah, I could recite that car from, like the horsepower and everything and the torque, and because I love that car. It was the LS1 V8 motor in it, like the Corvette.
Whoa.
It had a 325 horse with a 350 torque. At that time, that car was like,
Lightning.
yes. Now cars are just like, you can easily get a 400 horsepower car, and it's like, nothing.
I've got a small Bronco Sport and it has 300 horses in it.
Exactly. And that's an SUV.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's a smaller SUV.
Smaller SUV. Exactly. Exactly. But back then, yeah, yeah, that car kind of scared me a little bit because I got it as high as 165, and I was still on fifth gear, and I got one more gear to go. And that thing, the speedometer was like 250. Yeah, it was scary, but that's why I got rid of it when I first had my firstborn, because when I put her in the back seat and then she starts crying and I'm just like, and it was so hard to put her in the back seat. That car had no room, and then when you're young and kind of stupid, sometimes with your hot temper, or sometimes kids crying, and then you rev the car and like, no, I shouldn't be doing that. Like one of those things. I'm like, I got to get rid of this car. This is too much.
Right.
But
How great did that thing sound every time you started it up when you first bought it?
oh, when I first bought it, it was the American muzzle. It was like, it had that rumble. Yeah, it had that rumble of the V8 motor in it. But
I
I've had my share, and now I don't really care about what car I drive as long as I have the guns that I want to shoot.
Isn't that crazy? I'm the same. I'm like, most half the time I'm driving a van,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
minivan around because I have a Great Dane.
yeah,
It's like a miniature horse. You got to have a miniature horse trailer for those things.
right.
But I
Yeah,
don't care. I'm like, I'm driving a
no,
minivan. I don't give a crap. It's
no.
because now we have reached that point in our life where like practical makes way more sense than the muscle cars we wanted.
Yep, yep. I've had those share of my time. I'd rather have the practical car that would get me 40 miles to the gallon because I drive all the way to Michigan, Ohio with my matches. And I drive everywhere to support the matches, and yeah, I don't need a gas hog V8 motor to satisfy my need. I already satisfy my need with the guns that I shoot, because I shoot pretty much a lot of divisions right now because I love all of the divisions. Not all of it, but I love most of the divisions.
Well, and getting back to shooting now. So you get here when you're 16, you're going to nursing school. At what point do you find guns and competition?
Okay, so I always loved guns ever since I was in the Philippines when I was younger. My uncle was a police officer, and he had himself an issued a 38 special and an M16 rifle because he was a higher ranking officer. But he never taught me how to, like, he never introduced me to guns. Again, I was growing up without a dad. I was just influenced by my uncles and all that stuff, but they don't really treat me as their son. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to, like, I want a gun, but I never really had a gun. My first time that I was able to buy a gun is I can't even remember how old I was. I think I was able to buy a revolver at age 18, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. So I bought my first gun was a revolver. It was a Taurus revolver, and it was like one of those like 8 round cylinder. It was a big revolver gun. Of course, growing up, watching cowboys and all this stuff, revolver was shit, right? So I bought a revolver, big, long revolver, like a 6-inch barrel with a ported things on the front so that like the muzzle don't like rise. I didn't even know what that was meant, but I just wanted the revolver. It was a 38 357 Magnum, so I could use a 357 Magnum or a 38 Special in the cylinder, and I was shooting that. I sucked at it, man. I wasn't able to hit anything, but I had a gun. But then later on, I traded that gun for a Glock. So I bought a Glock in 1997, 98, and it was a Glock 32. And up to this day, I still have that gun. It was a Glock 32. So it's a 357 SIG. And then I was able to change the barrel through like the Glock store. You can change the barrel into a 9 millimeter or a 40 millimeter. So I bought two barrels, so one with a 9 mil and one with a 40, and then I was just. But then again, I was not into. I was not. I kind of self-taught myself, right? Almost everything else. I've self-taught myself with the stuff that I enjoyed. Not until really COVID 2020, when I really wanted to be responsible and wanted to learn how to handle the gun properly and safely. And I went to reach out to one of the instructors that I got acquainted with, and he is a doctor at the hospital that I work with. His name is Shel Rosenberg. He's an anesthesiologist at this place that I work, and he's a gun enthusiast. He's a gun instructor. He studied the guns, and I went to take a class with him, and he became basically my mentor. And he took me under his wing. He made me a safety range officer for his company, and that's when in 2020, that's when I started really understanding how to handle gun properly. So I took his class. I took my family, all my family, my kids, my wife. I went to took his class to handle guns because I don't want to just learn it myself. I want my wife to know that if we're gonna have guns in the house, you, all you people that I live with understand how, what is the safety rules and the safety precaution, just like everything else with the gun, because the gun has a very bad stigma, as you know, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's so stigmatized that guns are bad. You know what I mean? When it's not. It's a tool, right? Like the same thing with a knife. A knife is a tool. If you know you don't want to hold a knife, you don't want to point at somebody, you don't want to cut yourself with a knife, then you get the consequences of doing stupid things, right? So
Yep.
that's why I took my family, took his class, and then Rosenberg took me under his wing, and he pretty much got me involved with like I get the free ride for like classes with gun instructors and training with modern samurai and gosh, Brian Hill with the Complete Combatant, John Farnham, all those tactical gurus in the gun industry. So I trained with them before I even started competing, and that's not in 2021 when I started competing, and then go back to my friend again, Joshua Espinosa, when I got him also to take the class with me with Shell because I was being uh, I was being trying to tell my friends like, hey, you guys need to understand, get guns, and train yourself, right? Because I was now the advocate of my circle, and I then of course Josh was the one that got involved with the shooting competition first, and then he invited me, and at first I was like, nah, I really don't want to compete, man. I don't think that's really for me. But then he kind of like kept nagging me, bro. You need to shoot at least just shoot one match. And I said, okay, I'll shoot one match with you. And that was it, man. That was it. That's all it took. My local match here in Fort Wayne, Indiana,
And
and I
and
was
that's what
hooked.
I think some people who don't shoot because it's a quote unquote competition don't understand. It's like
Yep.
yes, but no.
Hmm.
It's really like a range day with
Hmm.
all of your friends, and then if you want to turn it into something more and be
Yep.
more competitive,
Yes.
you can.
Absolutely, and that's what I've been trying to advocate now for the new shooters. I don't want to like be a nagging person to them, but like, dude, I see people all the time in my range. Like, if I'm going to just zero my gun, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of like a dry practice, or I'm gonna do just one quick run, like running towards the wall, like ba 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 ba, ba. And then they see me and like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just practicing for my match next Sunday. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then the conversation comes, right? And then I just said, have you ever shot competition shooting? And they said, no. And I was like, okay, so how much ammo are you planning to shoot this time here now? And they said, about 200 rounds. And I said, dude, if you go to my match next Sunday, you will learn a whole lot more in less than 200 rounds, and you will shoot 5 or 6 stages with some thinking and planning and watching other people shoot, and you will learn a lot more than just you shooting your gun now. And you won't learn anything just by shooting the
Yep.
target with your 200 rounds. You'll be done in like 15, 20 minutes. And they're like,
Yep.
really? Yes. and and it's amazing how much people I recruit in my local area just by telling them you're gonna shoot less than 200 rounds in this match, and you will learn a lot more things down the road. And yeah,
Even if you're just a defensive minded shooter,
right.
if you go to a USPSA match, just a local match once a month, you will learn more
Oh yeah,
than you will like you said, doing anything else, just because now you're thinking, I've got to be quick to the target. I've got to be accurate on the target. Now I start thinking reloads, and in a defensive situation, let's say there's more than one individual you've got to deal with.
yeah.
These things are going to be in your mind too.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah.
it all,
Yeah, especially I always tell them like, especially like a lot of this are the young kids, right? And I tell them like, especially when you go to our match, like I'm not trying to like discourage you. You're gonna suck the first time. We all did. But then you're gonna see this old guy that's like 60 years old and he's gonna kick your ass. Guess what? You're gonna wanna come back the next match to prove yourself that you can do better. Seriously. And they do it.
yep.
And then they get better and they get better. And then now they're trying to like want to be better. And then me, I mean, I'd like to teach them. I've taken some classes, but I really don't have time. But I'm like, I'm trying to like recruit like big names out there to come to our local area to teach. Like I'm actually trying to get Joey Sauerland right now in my area. I'm trying to communicate with him to teach a class. I'm trying to have Tom Castro as well. It's just that in my local club right now, they don't allow teaching instructors in our club, which is weird. So I have to find another club, which is kind of 40 minutes down in my area. And I'm talking to this guy, the match director there, and he's allowing me. So now I have a range that I can actually host instructors to come because I want our area, our place here in my local, because I have a lot of shooters that are just very mediocre, man. I want them to learn. I want them to be better. I want Indiana to have more grandmasters. We barely have any grandmasters in our area. I mean, we have some, but not compared to a lot of other states. There's a lot. I mean, I don't know if you have the statistics of how many grandmasters on each states. I don't think there's very many in Indiana. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm just trying to like help like some of my local people take classes because really, when you start taking classes with these uh, vetted instructors that have won national matches, that have been to world shoots, that's like like those guys like JJ Rakaza and the Mason Lane. Mason Lane was my first competition instructor, and
Oh,
he
wow.
yeah. Like I said, when my boy Josh got me into the shooting competition, I went full force, man. Like, I'm that type of guy. If I become passionate about, because I'm already like passionate about self defense and gun handling and safety and all this stuff. That's why Shell Rosenberg, the guy that kind of mentored me at the very beginning, took me under his wing right away because he noticed in me that I'm very particular about safety, right? And he got me in. He made me the the range safety officer for his classes, so that, and then I kind of like, oh, nice. But like, and when and I want to advocate that to a lot of people, like especially with classes and all this big guys in the industry. Again, Joey has been trying. I took a Tom Castro class as well. Tom is a little different, but I love his coaching. He is a different type of specimen, but his coaching is like really get you to the next level. It's
Yeah.
that's his way of coaching, and
Well, and they each have their own techniques, which is
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Now, of all of them, I'm not. This is not asking who was the best one. I'm asking which one resonated more with you. Like, which one did you make the connection with most?
Tom Castro. So
It
I
sounded
had
like it.
Yeah, so I had Mason Lane was my first instructor, and Mason is a very meticulous of explaining how you shoot the gun, how you grip the gun, the drills. This is and Mason is just, I love Mason Lane. He just has a different way of explaining things. He's kind of have
Mm-hmm.
this like, doesn't have the, he just tells you and there's no enthusiasm there, right? Like he can articulate words differently, and then you just do the drills. I also took a class of Tim Herron, again because encourage, like, goes back to my group with Shel Rosenberg. We called his company is called Condition Red Response, and at that time I was into the competitions. Like, Shel, we need to bring performance instructors, not because I was trying to tell them like it's not just about like the defensive and the tactics and all this stuff. We need performance shooting because, dude, by that time I got into his class or into his group, I was already beating most of the guys that were like in
Teaching.
our group. Yeah, the instructors, right? I'm already excelling, and I need more. And I said, bring Tim Herron in our class to teach us to do performance stuff because I've heard about Tim Herron, and so we got Tim Herron, and I enjoyed Tim Herron's shot calling and stage planning and all this stuff. But then on my own, I took a class with Tom Castro, and that was probably what 2 years ago, and that's when I was. I was A class and I wanted to like, level up and do this thing, but Tom doesn't really care about your class anyway. He just cares about like who you are as a shooter. And Tom really resonated with me with all the things that how you attack the stage. It's all about in the mindset. And that's when I started getting more of like his style of shooting. It's like attack, control, your mindset. But then, sometimes Tom gets a little bit too overly like like his emotions and his way of, it doesn't resonate to a lot of people. So he's a different type of coach, but I love his style of coaching. That's just how, and
Yeah, it works for you.
yeah, it works for me. But it doesn't work for everybody. But
Well, and
yeah,
like you said, I mean, look how great Mason Lane is,
oh yeah,
and but he doesn't resonate with everybody either. I think he would probably resonate well with me because I'm much more of a technical
mhm,
person. Like
yes, yeah,
I like to know,
yes,
what
hmm,
are the threads on this screw that I'm using?
yes, yeah,
Something
yeah,
that really makes no difference, but for me in my mind, in order to visualize everything, I need to
yeah.
know everything.
Yes, you're a detailed oriented person. And me, I tend to get my style of shooting is like it kind of works for me sometimes, it works against me also because once I become passionate about something, I just want to, like a buffet, I want to eat all of it. You know what I mean, Dave? Like, I don't
You're like
want,
Pac-Man.
yeah, like I just want to eat and eat it and eat it and eat it until I'm like I can't even digest it anymore. And then it's like, did I learn anything from that? Not really. But down the road, yes. because now it's like, oh wow, and I realize that what Mason has taught me, there's still a lot of shit that I need to understand from that part. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And now, like this, yeah, I'm understand. But then I'm able to combine Tim Heron, Mason Lane, Tom Castro, and then my other instructors that I've studied, like in the tactical stuff, and then I put it all kind of like together, and then that's who I am. And it's like
Yes.
it's really different. Like I said, it resonates differently on different people. I'm just the type of guy that, like, if I get this opportunity, I'm diving full force. I'm going all in. And then yeah, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. And sometimes I just need to really control myself to like divide and dissect each of those portions, because some of these things are like causing me to affect my skills, because I'm doing it right, but then the other one is making it like affecting my concentration here. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to articulate words sometimes, but it's yeah. I'm like right now I don't even need another instructor, but I really enjoyed Joey Sauerland's technique, man. Like Joey's technique right now is really interesting to me, and that's why I want to host him and let other people also understand how he shoots, but I want to like host him and understand how he shoots, because Joey
Hmm.
ain't just yeah, yeah. And amazing thing is that Joey and I pretty much started the same year of shooting. Like I started in 21, and I think he started in 21 as well. And then I met him at a Kentucky National in 22. He was running one of the he was ROing one of the big stage over there, and then I met him again in 23, and we staffed together at Buckeye Blast in 2023, and he wasn't that big of a shooter at that time, but I can see him like the way how like he was able to coach me as well at that time, like you did doing great. And then and now I just shot with him at Buckeye. He was in my squad, and I'm like, man, this guy is amazing of how he does things so efficiently with keeping that gun up all the time, especially with pistol. Like he never puts that pistol down, dude. Like me, like when I'm shooting a pistol, like and then if I run to the other side, I break my grip and I go and then
Right.
reestablish the grip again. Joey does that, man. He keeps that gun like like his grip on both
Yeah.
hands are there when he's running and moving. It never breaks. And I'm trying to still like ingrain that in my mind to do that, but there's just I don't know, it's just different and very athletic.